younger mother than I am now. I'm still a mother, but when I was a mother of 3, and we lived in Central Square, we had some people coming over for dinner. And my husband sent me out on a bunch of errands, and I loved to go out on errands because we had young children, so going out on errands was a good deal, you know what I'm saying? That was a very good deal. So I went to get some beer because we're having people coming over, and I went to the ATM, and this is so long ago, guys, you could get $250 from the ATM because you could still get $10 bills, okay? This is how long ago this was. And he wanted me to get $250 in cash to pay our car mechanic who worked out of his house in Roxbury, out of a garage, and he had done a nice transmission job, and so he wrote a nice little note, "Dear Joe, thanks for the great transmission job, here's the pay," as a signed Robert Fairchild. So I went to get $250 out of the ATM, and then I had a number of other things. I had to go to the video store, and I went to return some books and pick up some books at the library, and then I went home, and I put everything where it needed to go, and Robert said, "Okay, so you got the money?" I said, "Of course I have the money." Of course I have the money. The money that I had $250 in cash. No, I didn't have the money. I had completely lost the money. So I said, no, wait. You think I've lost this money, but actually, I'm just going to go back and find it. That's all. It's very simple. I'm just going to go back and find it right into Central Square. So I went right into Central Square, and I went back to the liquor store, and I went to the ATM, and I went to the video store, and I did, of course, go to the library, and it was not there. And I looked up and down Mass Ave for the money, and I didn't find the money. So I went to, of course, the police station. And there, sitting at the desk with a big round face and lots of white hair on the top of it, was a nice Irish named Big Sergeant at Arms. And I went right up to him, and he said, "Can I help you?" And I said, "Yes, I've lost something, and I'd like to report it." And he said, "Yes, so what did you lose?" And I described what I lost, and I didn't get very far because he started laughing. He started laughing. He said, lady, excuse me. He said, "Lady." And he pulled himself together. He said, "Lady, who do you think is going to return that money? The Easter Bunny? What is the matter with you?" And I said, "Look, I am not a perfect person. I do not consider myself a saint by any means. But if I found $250 and there was a name attached to it, I would try." He said, "Oh, lady." But he wrote it down, and I went home, and we had our guests over for dinner, and the entire night was spent talking about how naive I was, and how evil people were, and how awful the world was, and blah, 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 blah. When the phone rang as we were finishing up our dessert, and a man said, "May I speak with Robert Fairchild?" Now, that's not unusual because we're both self-employed. People call all the time. And I said, "Well, yes." And I handed the phone to Robert, and he said, "Yes, I am. Yes. Well, it said, thanks for the transmission job, Joe, signed by Robert." "You did? You will? Oh my God, I can't believe it. No, yeah, you will?" No, I don't. My wife does. "Yes. But that's so amazing. I can't believe that thank you so much. Thank you. And he hung up the phone, and I said, What? He said, "You're not going to believe this." I said, "Well, so try me." He said, "You're not going to believe this. This guy found the money in the ATM where you left it, inside the envelope with the letter, and he brought it home. And after he finished his dinner, he decided that he would call every single Robert Fairchild in the phone book until he found the person who owned this." And if that was not weird enough, there are 2 more weird things I have to tell you. When we received a check, and the thing he said to my husband, that my husband said, "No, my wife does," he said, "Since you seem to have a little trouble holding on to your cash, I'm going to send this to you as a check." Which he did. And when we got the check, okay, you want to talk about a virtuous man? You can't make this stuff up. This man's name was Robert Vyce, V-Y-C-E. That was his name. But, okay, now there's one weird thing. But the next weird thing is 2 days later, my husband calls me up. He listens to NPR all the time when he's working. He's always calling me up and telling me I don't have to listen to it. He tells me what's going on with NPR. He says, "Norah, you're not going to believe this story. You're not going to believe this story. A man in Florida, a homeless man in Florida, with 11 cents in his pocket. An African-American homeless man with 11 cents in his pocket found $29,000 in cash. And he brought it to the police to see who had lost it." And I immediately called up NPR. Back then there was no internet either. I called up NPR, I got the transcript, and I wrote a children's book about that. So there's my stories about vice and virtue, because nothing brings out vice, maybe except lust, than money. But it also can bring out virtue. Thank you. Like I say, you can't make this stuff up, though,